For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth, but anywhere seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Nationally, you might be dissatisfied with the performance of Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre. But as far as the base is concerned, as far as the delegates of the St. Lucia Labour Party are concerned, they are of a contrary opinion. Also coming up in the broadcast this afternoon, yet another plea for the Prime Minister to relax, give the St. Lucian public a break as far as the 2.5% levy. Have a change of mind as far as this level of taxation is concerned, and in particular because of the impact it is having on the high cost of food items. And of course, we have the question of the day and a whole lot more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon right here on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. And Kimani is here, and she'll be going through some of your comments in the chat room. So you can recall it was on Monday, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia stated that we ought to give the police some credit, some praise, because 25 days had elapsed and the island had not recorded a single homicide. Well, he spoke too quickly. And I remember saying that. It was ill-advised. It certainly was a leader of a country who was, on this occasion, definitely politicizing crime because he wanted to make hay out of the fact that 25 days elapsed and no one was killed. As if we're talking about chickens or we're talking about canines, etc. And you know, those politicians conveniently tell you one life lost is one life too many, etc. The Prime Minister should have never, ever made reference to the time frame, the fact that almost a month had gone and we had not recorded a homicide, as if that is something to celebrate, something to shout about. We ought to be very consistent as a people so that we do not set our, ourselves those short-term goals you know, that is definitely, as a people, us not doing what is right on a consistent basis. And so if, for example, Wasco has not provided potable water to a particular community for, let's say, 2 weeks, and then it goes down to 1 week, we should be celebrating. The fact remains that Wasco has to consistently provide a reliable service to its customers. And likewise, the police should do the same, so that if we have one homicide within a week, we should be raising the alarm, not 25 days. We should set our goals a lot higher, so that the people will not start to accept mediocrity, start to become inured to crime and see it as a way of life. And it has to be big news, almost an entire month, 25 days, and no homicide. That's what we have reached. That's to that extent, certainly we have reached a point where crime is so much a way of life in our country that if 25 days would elapse and we did not have a single homicide that is cause for celebration, is there something about us? Could it also not be that, and I said this, and I've been saying this for years now, maybe criminals decide, like most of us, they must go on vacation. They take a break. There's some kind of a truce. It is not a truce that will hold permanently on most occasions, but among themselves, not something that would have been inspired by action, serious action on the part of the authorities, your National Security Ministry, your Home Affairs, or even your police. So no sooner he spoke, we had a homicide. But let's listen to the Prime Minister in action during the briefing, pre-cabinet briefing, when he made that infamous statement.
5 days now, there's not been any homicide in the country. The last homicide was 25 days ago. You understand? It's not a good record, but I want to congratulate the police. I want to congratulate them. But these things do not make the news. It's 25 days has not been a homicide. In fact, I'd be happy if there was no homicide for the entire year. But 25 days hasn't been one.
It really makes the news, you know, Mr. Prime Minister and National Security Minister. By us not reporting that there's been a homicide, the people take it that there's not been a homicide. If we don't report it, that means it did not take place. Because, you know, that as far as life in St. Lucia is concerned, good or bad, and we don't get enough credit as a media fraternity, and even as members of the society who have constant relationship with their phones, and they photograph everything and they videotape everything. People are reporting on everything that is happening in this country, good or bad. So, if there has not been a homicide, the media will not manufacture any story, will not concoct anything to indicate that there was indeed a homicide. There wasn't a homicide, there wasn't a homicide. And the members of the society, those people are watching the news, listening to the news, following the NewsSpin broadcast, they are very much aware that we did not have a homicide over a particular period, and that they too would be pleasantly surprised and would be hoping that this long term, this would be the norm. And so on Friday, 4 days after the Prime Minister's statement, we had a homicide in Vieux Fort. 19-year-old identified as Marcus Prescott. He was gunned down on Friday afternoon in Vieux Fort. And we are at 73 homicides so far for this year. So, should the Prime Minister be reporting that 4 days after his unwise statement that the island recorded a homicide? Do you think the Prime Minister will hold his peace? if, for example, the next 2 or 3 weeks we do not record another homicide? And long term, if after several months we see that there is a trend, because we're managing this, we have it under some level of control, then you could start to speak about it because the trend is developing. But long before that, and the Prime Minister ought to know better, he's a man of figures and trends. Long after that, then we make our own honest assessment. But for now, it's really too early. It has become a little sporadic every now and then, a homicide, compared to what we were experiencing earlier this year in April over in Vieux Fort. And talking about Vieux Fort, I came across a WhatsApp message and from the NewsSpin WhatsApp group, making reference to what obtained in the southern part of the island earlier this year, where there was wanton violence and homicide after homicide involving infants, children as young as 2 years old, grandmothers, grandfathers, you name it. And the person forwarded this to the group. It reads, in April 2023, Vieux Fort experienced a spate of murders in just a few days. The violence was not confined to any particular area of Vieux Fort. People were killed on Clark Street, Bruceville, Lambouchi, the Pond, and Bacadere. Innocent persons were indiscriminately gunned down, and the whole town was in a state of fear. Even distant relatives of the deceased had to leave town, and up to today, some have not returned to their usual place of residence. As a result, we were identified as an escalated crime area by the government. I don't think that label has been attached to any other community on island. It continues. The RSS was brought in and we saw regular patrols both on foot and police vehicles throughout the town. The RSS has left and the local police patrols are not visible in our streets anymore. Once again, the criminals roam the streets of Vieux Fort, armed with high-caliber weapons, knowing that they are unlikely to be stopped in their pursuit of their targets. Apart from the government labeling us an escalated crime area, persons in the other districts refer to our young men as top shatter, bad boys, amongst other things. That reputation is bad for business in Vieux Fort. Potential shoppers from the neighboring districts of Labrie, Choiseul, Soufrière, Micoud, Desruisseaux have now opted to travel to Castries to conduct their business. Although it costs more to travel to Castries, but they say that they feel more at ease and don't have to rush their shopping experience as opposed to constantly being on edge in Vieux Fort. I was walking closely behind a grandmother and a granddaughter at the top of Clark Street in May of this year. They were heading towards town, and I overheard the granny saying to the child that she's afraid to go to S&S on Commercial Street. The child was able to persuade her that they'll be quick. I also know of people who would reach as far as Chinatown and ask someone else to make purchases for them by the Pond, S&S, and Baba. The jeweler on Church Street told me that his clients were reluctant to come and collect their jewelry. Even holders of post boxes at the post office were afraid to come and collect their mail. This is the multiplier effect of the gun crime in our beloved Vieux Fort. Many of you may not be aware of a calamity which was luckily averted a few weeks ago at the Chinese restaurant on Commercial Street. 2 masked men, guns drawn, were about to spray 3 guys at the restaurant when luckily a passing police vehicle called them out seconds before they pulled the trigger. The gunmen ran away. It was reported that the guys at the restaurant wet themselves at the sight of the guns aimed at them. Yesterday's shooting occurred near the same Chinese restaurant. I will not be surprised if these people pack up and leave town. That would mean the loss of jobs and revenues in already depleted and fragile business sector. I can't help but think that the criminals are well organized in terms of their intelligence around town. They seem to know the every move of their rivals and are quick to arrive there. The confidence which was coming back to Vieux Fort business will once again be shattered by yesterday's shooting. The Southern Business Association, along with the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, the police, the district representative, they need to address this situation with one clear voice. Sitting back and doing nothing is not an option if we want Vieux Fort to thrive and be a safe community once again. May peace, love, and tranquility return to Vieux Fort. That one is extracted from the NewsSpin WhatsApp group. And this came in the aftermath of the homicide which occurred on Friday over in Vieux Fort. So why should it take someone to call out of the St. Lucia Business Association, along with the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, the police and rep, etc., to speak out on this particular problem over in Vieux Fort? Do we have a Southern Business Association? I really thought that this organization was dormant. But based on the reference being made to it, one gets the impression that the association is very much in existence. I think we have a St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce because from time to time they issue press releases and so on. But the business community, not being political, but focusing on the reality on the ground, by now should have been issuing press release after press release, making statements and calling on the authorities. You know, sometimes those entities, maybe they do so quietly or diplomatically, do not want to make public pronouncements on things on the island that need to be addressed. Unlike their counterparts in a number of other Caribbean countries, your Jamaica, your Trinidad. I keep making reference to those countries and the institutions there deliberately, because when it suits us, we like to compare ourselves to other parts of the world. But organizations like the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, they are failing us. The St. Lucia Bar Association, almost non-existent. If maybe the government were to enact legislation that would affect its members directly, then they will speak out. And now we're hearing of the Southern Business Association. Amidst all that has happened in Vieux Fort, we did not hear from the organization, and we don't even know who the president of the Southern Business Association is. The Parliament of St. Lucia and the Speaker of the House taking members of the media to task in an interview. Think might have been when? Friday? And saying that the media, they are not holding the feet of the leader of the opposition to the fire. They're not causing him to be accountable. They're not posing direct questions at him regarding his behavior. And therefore, his advice to the beleaguered, weak, almost non-existent media in St. Lucia is, do your job. And this is how you do your job, according to the Speaker. There is an exchange between the Speaker and the leader of the opposition, and according to the Speaker, maybe the leader of the opposition will be breaching the rules, will be breaching the standing orders. Then the media has to take him to task on that. How often have you heard from government ministers, ministers with responsibility for information and broadcasting, commentators, etc., that the media's job is to report the news, report what has transpired to the St. Lucian public, and then allow members of the public to form their own opinion. They have been saying it's not the media's job to make certain pronouncements. You cannot mix reporting together with commentary, although it happens from time to time, you know. It happens from time to time. See it in the media, but who am I to say anything about it? It is the responsibility of the speaker, since he is there to maintain order in the House, to ensure that order is maintained. And if there is chaos in the House, it is not the responsibility of the media to castigate anyone, especially when you're just reporting the facts, reporting what transpired. And there's a difference between reporting and commentary. So your talk show hosts, the various programs, NewsSpin, etc., can comment, can opine on those things. But if you're reporting a straight story in the news, the lunchtime news here at Power 97.9 or the DBS News, well, you just report the facts. This is what transpired in the Parliament. You play the evidence, the corresponding evidence, the speaker, the exchange with the leader of the opposition, etc. And as intelligent people, you will form your opinion. It's not the responsibility, as he put it, the analogy of if it's raining and if it's not raining, that one say it's raining and it's not raining, and it's the responsibility of the media to put its heads out and decide whether it's raining or not. I mean, that's for the meteorologists to take care of. But let's listen to the Speaker of the House. Come across as being very agitated, you know, taking on the media. And before we hear from the Speaker, there is no denying that this current administration has been able to get away with so many things, primarily because I don't think it's a case of being unprofessional. I think it's a case we have so many people entering the media without the requisite experience and training. They are green, and you do not have a media corps where, particularly at press conferences, you have seasoned journalists being among the green reporters to provide some leadership and to provide some guidance. And therefore, this administration, probably more than any other administration, has benefited from this deficiency. Also to realize that since this government came into office, so many experienced reporters have left the media in droves. There are instances when one or two reporters, in most instances, sometimes one reporter, would move from mainstream media to PR. It does not happen very often. But over the last 2 years and few months, you've had at least five reporters from the media corps doing PR for the government. Can't take that away from them, because only media reporters will tell you what they're going through in terms of the hard work and the low pay. And if a government decides that they want to employ you for one reason or the other, and you believe the pay is right, I mean, you decide. You have to look after your interests. You have your family to feed. And so it is for media owners to make it a lot more difficult through attractive pay and working conditions for reporters to leave mainstream and go and do PR for the government. In the end, not only media houses are suffering, but the country as a whole is suffering. And therefore, this government ought to be grateful. The government ministers ought not to be critical of the quality of reporting that we are being subjected to in St. Lucia right now, because they, as a government, they are the beneficiaries of that. So let's hear from the Speaker of the House, saying, media, do your job.
Why is it that the question is always to the Speaker? Go ask Mr. Chastney those questions. But you, the media, see it and you don't ask him. Why you want to place a burden on the public that you yourselves as guardians of democracy don't ask Mr. Chastney?
And it really doesn't matter where you ask the question of Mr. Chastney or you pose a corresponding question to the Speaker of the House, because you cannot force those people to answer in any particular manner. It is for the Speaker to do his job, do it fairly, do it impartially in the House of Assembly, and then we report and allow the people to decide on whether the Speaker is doing a good job or not. Case closed on that issue. The Speaker also addresses whether it matters, whether those proceedings are live or recorded. It does matter. People want those stuff now in real time. Can you imagine getting a recorded edition of NewsSpin, which happens from time to time? But imagine the proceedings of the House were to take place on a Tuesday, and then it is canned, it is reproduced, it is edited, and it is coming on air on that same Tuesday evening at 9 o'clock. Not only it puts you as the viewer at a serious disadvantage, because you'll watch the proceedings from 9 in the evening until 4 the following morning. And more than that, you as a viewer, some of you at least, being cynical and critical, you'd be suspicious. It's only natural to feel that way. I wonder what was edited out of the proceedings. And we all know what possibly can happen when the henchmen and women who are supporters of the SFP or any government are at the helm of the national television network. They will determine what will be edited out, what will be kept, and you, members of the public, are the ones who will be shortchanged. So then, it's obvious. You want it live. You don't want it recorded. So let us hear from the Speaker of the House, saying that, in effect, it's not a big deal whether it's recorded or live, the proceedings of the island's parliament.
Citizens want to see what's at the parliament. If it's recorded and replayed on GIS, aren't they seeing it? Aren't you there to report what happened? Go do your jobs properly. You know what's happening in the media? The government says it's raining. The opposition says it's not raining. The press reports both rather than put their heads outside to see if it's raining. That's what the problem is.
Anyway, members of the media getting the just desserts as far as the treatment is concerned. We have some more to share with you during the course of the broadcast between now and 2 o'clock. Let's find out what's happening in the chat room as we open the lines at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Kimani, good afternoon.
Hi, Tim. Good afternoon. That was a very exciting good afternoon. Are you in a good mood?
I'm always in a good mood, especially when you are on set. And I think this is reflected as well in the comments in the chat room. People are always happy when you are on the program.
Someone in the chat room says, Tim, just like the time they edited the marathon SMH. Someone says, a recorded proceeding that can be edited. Another comment, someone says, in other words, the Speaker is telling the media, you are not doing your job of helping us in castigating Chastney. Tim, if this government gets out of office, what will these reporters do? Someone says Claudius has a problem with the media now because they are not asking him the questions he wants to hear. The media should ask the speaker, when will his court fines be paid? Someone says, but didn't Labour buy out the media? Why do they expect now to have media left?
I mean, you watch press conferences and a reporter would ask a government minister, the leader of the opposition said so and so. What's your response? What's your reaction? Anyway, we have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Tim, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, I got good news for you.
What's the good news?
Remember there was a time I called you about 3 weeks ago, and I was telling you about the state of the road between when you go into Vieux Fort area there. When the potholes, and it was almost like impossible to go up there. But apparently those holes were patch block. So when I said I have good news for you, I think it will be easier for you to go on there close to the Poleon anyway.
Okay. Well, I'm happy that some relief is being brought to you guys in the south.
So that is good news for you. But on the larger side, I listened to you with your preamble opening of the program, and I think last week you spoke about it was too quick on the part of the Prime Minister to say 25 days there has not been a homicide. And there was a homicide. I was in Vieux Fort when that particular homicide took place, and it was just too quick. Now it sounds almost as though it's a gamble, man. Let's bet we don't have or we have, and if it happens, well, so be it. You know, it's that the reason why it's a gamble. It sounds like we're not even responsible. We don't even care, even if we. I mean,
more than that. To borrow from the speaker, do your job as a government, as a prime minister, as a national security minister, as home affairs minister, as the police. Just do your job, and the people will observe. You don't have to come and blow your trumpet. 25 days, and not a single homicide, and 4 days later there's a homicide. What does that say about you? And more than that, that's too risky. It is a risky move. It was a risky move on the part of the Prime Minister. So now you have a homicide. Who do you blame? Do you blame the police? Because you're praising them for 25 years of relative calm as far as crime is concerned.
Wouldn't any St. Lucian feel happy that the level of homicide or crime in St. Lucia not just give us a break, but come completely to a stop?
Not completely to the stop, but ensure that it's manageable. You know, that's what people want. Make it something that will shock people if there is a homicide. Right now, we're no longer surprised if there is a homicide.
Okay, yeah. So I am, because I'm saying this, until you made mention about the chambers of commerce, I have on a note there. There was a time, and we talk about whether these things exist in Castries and it does not exist in Vieux Fort. Of course, Vieux Fort have those groups. There was a group called Vieux Fort Beautification Committee or whatever it was. I think that it was not a department, Vieux Fort Beautification. And I know of 2 gentlemen who were responsible for these groups. And there was one that was your good friend. There was a time you host NewsSpin in that particular area. I think you host NewsSpin once in Vieux Fort, am I right?
Yes, I think that's when I met you.
Yeah, I don't want to mention names, and you host NewsSpin for the first time in the southern town of Vieux Fort. Now, those groups are very much alive. But the question that we are asking, we want to know whether they have the mantle, meaning the strength, or maybe the goodness, whatever we want to use it to say, well, this is happening and that is not what we want to see. Because if you're looking at Vieux Fort, I mean, persons that have business in Vieux Fort are mainly, they're not from Vieux Fort. Labrie, Monrepo, and Deristo, and Trizell, and those places. For Vieux Fort people itself, not too many people from Vieux Fort have any business there for that matter. So then when you have crime plaguing that community, it will be a serious problem for persons that operate in Vieux Fort. Business in Vieux Fort, meaning those communities that I mentioned, or constituencies that I mentioned that have been in Vieux Fort. So then they remain quiet. They're on board with the government, nothing affecting them. It's mattered. It's mattered. It is a problem, and it is just a problem. And we don't want to go as too far as one to report it or do something about it. But this have a serious, because you look at I heard you read something about the where that particular incident took place within the Chinese restaurant there. It's a popular place where people sometimes go to the Chinese restaurant and have a meal.
Yeah.
It's close to SNS there. That is where the old police station used to be. Now, if that place, it's not once, not twice, we have occurrence of this type of things happening. The person have been getting killed constantly. I mean, pretty soon from now, people would have to think twice to go to that particular restaurant and have a meal, because you would not want to know. I mean, you would be the one go there and get shot. And then it appears that these fellas, as though the lower part of the town, they have taken it under control, while higher up between Massey and where Flo used to be there, just close to the police station, maybe a little more different in terms of person, moving into those areas. I mean, it is just a mess. But the problem, the question that we all are waiting, is it that the Prime Minister is serious enough? Now, I don't even want to say serious, because we have heard so many things from that Prime Minister. Because there are telling him, I have respect for leaders, I really want to maintain a level of respect for persons that have been prime ministers and ministers, whatever. But then when you have persons who are prime ministers and they don't do no investigation, they hear a rumor about the opposition and immediately they jump on the bandwagon and say, I'm saying it, and it is, I left it for speculation. And I am just wondering, are we serious? Is it these people are leaders for true? Or they are head of state? Because this will come in close to like a joke for me. This sounds very much like someone does not even know what they are doing. And that is why we have that problem there. Day after day, we are in problem. We have bad roads. We have crime taking over. We have misinformation. We have the media taking side, looking at those persons who used to be very much reporting as serious person, letting the public know what is happening. All of a sudden, they all have gone silent. We have this particular group called Loop News. At one time, he report almost like he want to print a good picture, show you everything is pretty. And this one, we just in a constant.
Well, I don't think you're being fair to the online news outlets. And I would like to I don't do that often, put my neck on the block for those two outlets. They're not paying me. Hold on. They're not paying me for this, but I think they're doing a good job. That is Loop and St. Lucia Times.
What I'm saying,
you may not agree with the slant, the reportings from time to time, etc. Take objection, but I think the level of professionalism that is being displayed.
I never said. I am not saying that they are not professional. I'm telling, because most of my I say, let me check St. Lucia News.
And of course, let me put a plug for DBS News as well.
Well, I wasn't referring to DBS, but then I was going to that particular station that news outlet that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. The one time I said, let me go to St. Lucia News Online or St. Lucia Times to see if there is anything, different. And what you are hearing is almost like a collaboration of government for me, something that is collided and does not want to tell. And we have so many things that are happening. I find those news outlets should be reporting to the media and let the people of the
Okay, but people believe sometimes we deliberately do not report certain things, but it's because on occasions we hear about it, but we cannot verify. We have our own limitations in terms of resources and in terms of getting the cooperation of certain government departments. So we have our limitation. We are very much human in this regard. But let's move on.
Briefly, like I mentioned, I said the note of what I have about there is this group, one that was operating Vieux Fort. They were a little more active than the Chambers of Commerce. They were called Vieux Fort Beautification Committee. So I think I have that on a note there, and I believe that was very much active. And all of a sudden, all of those groups have come together under the umbrella of when it was the previous administration of so concerned citizens, and they put it all into politics. And now, chaos in Vieux Fort, nobody take responsibility. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for calling. Still to come, you might not have confidence in Philip J. Pierre. Some of you might not have confidence in Philip J. Pierre as the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. But as far as the delegates are concerned, 100% of them, they have spoken and they have certainly demonstrated how they feel about him as political leader of the SLP. You're watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page. We are also on YouTube, and you're listening to the broadcast on Power 97.9 FM.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, Vieux Fort, 454-6555.
It's my life and I want more. More time, more power. Pay my Lucy like bill isn't hard. I pay with credit or debit card. Pay direct to Lucy like my account. I have the power, yeah. Pay online to Lucy like my account. Anywhere, any day, any hour. Lights are on at home. No more standing in line. No more worrying about my bill. Now I'm all paid up. Got more time to chill, yeah, yeah. Pay my Lucy like bill isn't hard. I pay with credit or debit card.
Register today to set up LuCelect My Account by going to www.myaccount.lucelect.com on any device. Follow the steps to register and pay your electricity bills directly to LuCelect online and get back to your life. For now, this service is available to customers with domestic accounts only.
Tis the season for new internet, a laptop, and some extra cash. This Christmas is on us. Sign up in-store or online today at discoverflow.co. Terms and conditions apply. Valid while stocks last.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Good life is what I say, makes me happy every day. Good mood is all I need, it makes me happy, yes indeed. Got fun, love, family, community, great food from KFC.
Serving great tasting chicken for generations. KFC.
It's good, it's good, it's finger licking good. It's good, it's finger licking good.
Great food anytime at KFC. It's finger licking good.
asked for it, and it's back. The National Farmers and General Workers Credit Union Limited announces the return of its Merry Till February Christmas loan promotion. Get up to $30,000 with absolutely no deposit and up to 5 years to repay. It's Merry Till February with the Farmers Credit Union. Call 454-6710 in Vieux Fort or 452-7277 in Castries to book an appointment with one of our loans officers today. Terms and conditions apply.
If you suffer with pain from fibromyalgia, lupus, sickle cell anemia, sciatica, or arthritis, Lockley DeCoste doctor specialists from overseas in St. Lucia will diagnose and treat patients who have been suffering long. Lockley DeCoste specialists will treat the symptoms of stroke, brain injuries, spinal cord injuries with shoulders, elbows, knees, back, and neck pain, even plantar fasciitis being a pain of the past. Lockley DeCoste specialists in St. Lucia EMG tests will measure the damage in neuromuscular disorders and diabetic neuropathy because Lockley DeCoste doctor specialist provides proper diagnosis using the most effective treatment for you to live free of pain.
La Clinique Ducor. Call 451-6559 or 721-9950. La Clinique Ducor, located at number 17 High Street, Castries.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Can't get a break from all this tax? Head to Automotive Art and get a taxcation. Automotive Art is offering you an ease from VAT and health and safety levy with savings of up to 15% and more. That's right, 15% of all tools, 15% of all accessories, 15% of car detailing, 15% of all rims, 15% of computerized wheel alignment, and 15% and more of selected tires with savings of up to 30% on some sizes. It's Automotive Art Taxcation. Visit us at Automotive Art at Vidbuchai Castries and Latuni Vieux Fort today and enjoy a taxcation. Offer valid for limited time. Some conditions apply. See stores for details.
Coming soon, Blast Gaming, powered by the St. Lucia National Lottery, changing lives.
The United Workers' Party invites all right-minded St. Lucians to a protest march to say no to this criminal 2.5% tax on the poorest of the poor, to say no to the trampling of the democracy of St. Lucians, to say no to the bad roads and stoppage of critical infrastructure projects for cheap political gains, to say no to selling our seaports for a 40-year deal that only benefits the friends, family, and comrades of the Labour Party. Join us on Thursday, November 30th, as we march from the VG playing field to the William Peter Boulevard to just say no.
So some of you might not have complete or total confidence in Philip J. Pierre as Prime Minister of St. Lucia. But it's a totally different story as far as the delegates of the SLP are concerned. So on Sunday, there was the closed session of that conference of delegates of the SLP, and Mr. Pierre secured a 100% vote of confidence from the delegates, and that is for the second consecutive time. Can you take issue with this? Because I believe that Mr. Philip J. Pierre has demonstrated that he has more energy. He has all the answers that would ensure that the St. Lucia Labour Party remains a buoyant and effective political organization. You'd never hear him say, I don't know and I can't do anything about this situation involving the SLP. And you have witnessed him reacting to issues relating to the poor state of the economy, high cost of living and crime. And very often he says that he has no control over those things. So he's a more effective political leader of the SLP than he is as Prime Minister of this country. So it comes as no surprise that 100% of the delegates, all of the delegates, would repose their confidence in him as political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party. This is what transpired just after the news came out that he was endorsed again, or he emerged victorious yet again as a political leader of the SLP, and that took place on Sunday. So that was the atmosphere like over in Vieux Fort. That's during the closed conference of delegates of the SLP. The event was held at the Beanfield Comprehensive Secondary School, and that is under the theme, Moving Forward Together. So as I said earlier on, as far as critical issues, crime, the economy, the high cost of living, the Prime Minister does not have the answers, but as far as his stewardship of the SLP, I think that this is unquestionable. Let us hear from the political leader of the UWP, Alan Chasney, focusing on the 2.5% levy and the impact it is taking on people in St. Lucia, irrespective of the Prime Minister thanking the citizens for, according to him, accepting the 2.5% levy. The leader of the opposition has a different story.
This week in Parliament, I took the opportunity of reminding the Prime Minister that when he was proposing to introduce the 2.5% levy, that we felt it was ill-advised. What the country really needed was a reduction in taxes and a reduction in duties to help offset the increase in cost of goods being imported and to put more money in people's hands. Instead, the Prime Minister insisted on moving forward. In fact, went as far as to say repeatedly that the tax would not be on food. It would not affect the price of food. He said it over and over and over again. So even he realized back then the negative impact any increases in the cost of food would have on the poorest of the poor, the more vulnerable people in our society and households in general. So today, we now know, we don't have to guess anymore, the price of food has gone up. And a large part because of the 2.5% levy. Prime Minister seemed to fail to understand that when you increase the cost of doing business in general, it's going to be applied across the board. But now that he knows that it has impacted the cost of food, and he would have appreciated even before what a negative effect that would have had on everyone, we're asking the Prime Minister once again, suspend the tax.
Part of a live on Facebook by former Prime Minister, leader of the opposition, Mr. Alan Shastny. We have a call as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, Kimani.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, Tim, did you hear the Speaker of the House saying to one of the reporters, to the reporter,
hello?
Does the courtroom being televised?
Mm-hmm.
Tim, the Speaker of the House need to know that we know he wears a robe, but that the Parliament of St. Lucia is not a courtroom. So it cannot be that a courtroom does not televise. It is the Parliament of St. Lucia that is being televised. So when the Speaker of the House is asking whether the Parliament should not be televised in St. Lucia, Tim, we should be very, 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 very careful.
Hello?
What we are accepting. And I'm very disappointed in the fact that the Speaker of the House is feeling emboldened to come to reporters to take a reporter on. Tim, I've never seen that before. And I'm wondering, what is this man up to the people of St. Lucia? So, Tim, I'm disappointed when I saw that, and I say I have to call your show to really point out, to make this point out. Thank you very much, Tim.
Okay, thank you, caller. Kimani, what's happening in the chat room?
In the chat room, someone says, big up Tim and company. Freedom of speech is not free in SLU. You with them or against them. You don't feel free to speak your mind. What is this called when you can't speak? What is it called, Tim?
You being muzzled?
Someone said slavery. Another comment, I am happy that the speaker asked the journalists to do their job. They needed to be reminded that they have a responsibility to the public. Another comment, it looks like in future a Speaker of the House must be picked by the people of the state. Someone is asking, Tim, when are you coming to host NewsSpin in Miku South? Do you have any plans to do so, Tim?
I might do it anytime or any other part of the island because as the call indicated earlier on, several years ago, many years ago, I hosted NewsSpin over in Vieux Fort. And the feedback was very good. The response.
Someone says, what is good news, caller? The patching of roads, we are paying tax. We need new roads. Another comment, this is a direct result of what happens when you can't differentiate governance from partisan politics. Tim, tell Claudius give the people a pre-recorded carnival jump up instead. Someone says the media has to continue doing their job, Tim. Someone says they were listening from the Dominican Republic. And Tim, I wonder which media he is referring to because I don't hear much of them around anymore. Most of them have jobs with the government. Tim, I hope the PM is also checking how many days that the people are not able to buy food to feed their family. Let's see what else we have in the chat room. Someone says the difference between Mr. Chas and some of the people on the other side, he speaks so calmly compared to the others. Every time they speak with aggression, like they are ready to fight. That's it in the chat room, Tim.
Somebody says that, Tim, I think that Shas should stop crying for the people because I don't hear them crying. This is what they voted for. All right, let's take a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
I think that Shas should stop crying for the people.
Hello.
Hold on. Give me a minute, please. Give me a minute. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Very good. Let me ask you, who has the final say in the House of Assembly?
Who has what?
Who has the final?
Yeah, but caller, we know. Don't waste my time. We know who has the final say. Go ahead.
No, but no, I want to go through the process. I just
No.
want to...
We don't want to make it long and exhausted and so on, because in the interest of time. It's just like you asking me.
But I want
it's just like you asking me what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is Tuesday. We know that. Let's go.
No, but sometimes, because some of your callers, they don't get the idea that there are rules and regulations in anything that do. And the presiding officer has the final say in the House of Assembly. So if he asks you to have your seat, you have to do that. You cannot argue with a presiding officer. And that's my argument for the day. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. I remember a time, I don't know if we will be able to get this clip, but Rosemary Husbands, former Speaker of the House, had a difficult time bringing and maintaining order in the island's parliament. Many of you can recall that. She was the speaker. She had the final say. But the then leader of the opposition and several of the MPs certainly just wanted to have their way. And caller, they disrupted the proceedings. This is well known. Okay, making reference to hooligans and holding on the proceedings of the parliament for at least more than 10 minutes or so. Speaker Husbands was in charge. She was at the helm. So, if it ought to be a rule, when one speaker is presiding over the affairs of parliament, then automatically it should involve every other speaker caller. Let us be consistent. And more than that, there are times when you have to display your disagreement, your annoyance at certain things. And there are occasions when, no matter how powerful you are, you certainly, through your actions, can compromise your authority. Because very soon, people will just not want to listen to you. They don't believe you are objective. They don't believe that you are impartial. Don't know if you have any more comments in the chat room, Kimani?
No more comments.
No more comments. All right, let me see what's happening there comments-wise. Somebody says there, good afternoon, Tim. They have no choice because they are all failures to do otherwise would admit defeat, referring to the delegates. All right, let's take another call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Calling from the diaspora.
Hey, Tim and Kimani. It's a minute.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
What's up? How are you guys doing?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm good. I heard you guys didn't have crime in the last 25 days, so I was congratulating.
Calling to congratulate. Well, 4 days later, we had a homicide, so.
Yeah, at the end of the day, even though crime was at 100 persons per year, and then it go down to 2, and you'd celebrate, but what if that 2 was your wife and child? Like, there's no celebrating until it's not wrong to say that it's going down, but there's no such, like, no one deserves that clap. Like, you get it. The only time I would clap for crime is at 0.
Yeah. And it could never happen.
Yeah, it can never happen. So it's like it's a continuous. And I honestly believe we need to start electing people that believe they can stop crime, They should be mad enough to believe they can stop. Because if you're mad enough to believe that you can stop, that means you're consistently doing your utmost to stop it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the goalpost that continues shifting. Timothy, police have the ability to defend themselves. They could shoot you, and they have that. But if they go around shooting people,
they cannot
power?
They cannot use excessive force.
Exactly. So, like the thing the guy saying about the speaker have the final say. Yes, we all agree the speaker have the say, but he can abuse his power, and he has been found wanting multiple times. So just to say because he has the power, then that's just it. Like, you shouldn't say. It's like people like you go to court and the judge basically tell you shut up. Doesn't make sense. He said did you play the clip of his interview?
Yes, I played a few clips, yeah.
Yeah, it was the level of retardedness in it was surprising to me, because I think he's on the road where he cannot distinguish between a reporter and a talk show personality. Because a talk show personality, you can come and give your opinion because you have a talk show. A reporter, there's no such thing as the opinion. A reporter, the job of a reporter is not even to seek what truth is. The job of a reporter is to bring every possible angle that exists to the public and let the public come to the conclusion whether they believe that's true, whether they believe that's a lie. So he said about if one place is raining and the other place is dry, and then what the reporters want to do is put both of them up, and when they could just stick their head outside, but sticking your head outside is drawing your own conclusion. Now, if you one side said it would rain, one side said it would dry, and you give the perspective outside your window is dry, you're still not saying whether one side lie or they said the truth. You're not omitting nothing. You say they said it would rain, said it would. As for where, so every you are you attempt.
Okay. Sorry about that, caller. The quality of the call has dropped, so you might have to call back a little bit later. You're watching NewsSpin on YouTube. We are also on the NewsSpin Facebook page, and you're listening to the broadcast on Power 97.9 FM. Still to come, some more of your calls, and we continue our discussion. Please stay with us.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Vieux Fort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Introducing the new LuSelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From My Account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. LuSelect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Sign up for a large postpaid plan and get 2 Samsung Galaxy A4s for just $199, plus 2 entries into the Everyday Grand Giveaway. This Christmas is on us. Sign up in store or online today at discoverflow.co. Terms and conditions apply.
The National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union Society Limited is inviting all its members to its 28th annual general meeting for the financial year ending December 2022, which will be held on Sunday, November 26th from 10 a.m. at Chateau Heritage in Dennery. Also, the minutes and financial statement of the last AGM are available at both branches of the credit union. Everyone is asked to make a very special effort to attend the 20th annual general meeting of the National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union Society Limited on Sunday, November 26th from 10 a.m.
Join us at the KFC Recruitment Pop-Up. KFC is searching for enthusiastic team members, supervisors, restaurant managers, delivery drivers, cyclists, and riders. Friday, December 1st at Constitution Park, Castries, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join the KFC team and receive exceptional training and amazing benefits. Take this opportunity to shape your future with KFC. See you at the Pop-Up.
If you suffer with pain from fibromyalgia, lupus, sickle cell anemia, sciatica, or arthritis, likely because doctor specialists from overseas in St. Lucia will diagnose and treat patients who have been suffering long. Likely because specialists will treat the symptoms of stroke, brain injuries, spinal cord injuries with shoulders, elbows, knees, back, and neck pain, even plantar fasciitis being a pain of the past. Likely because specialists in St. Lucia EMG tests will measure the damage in neuromuscular disorders and diabetic neuropathy, because likely because doctor specialist provides proper diagnosis using the most effective treatment for you to live free of pain.
La Clinique Ducor. Call 451-6559 or 721-9950. La Clinique Ducor, located at number 17 High Street, Castries.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Automotive Art is having the mother of all Black Friday sales. Everything is on sale. No exceptions, no exclusions. From Monday 20th to Saturday 25th November, get up to 75% off on rims, tires, tools, accessories, lubricants, car care, and more. Deals galore. It's the mother of all Black Friday sales. Bargains so good, we've even extended shopping hours at our Vieux Fort Castries store, open until 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 4 p.m. on Saturday during Black Friday week. Everything is on sale. Only at Automotive Art, Vieux Fort Castries and Latuni Vieux Fort.
Coming soon, Blast Gaming, powered by the St. Lucia National Lottery, changing lives.
This Christmas, Power 97.9 FM is doing it big, spreading joy and good cheer with the spirit of the season. It's going to be a power jolly Christmas. Join us every weekday and win big. Play Pick to Win, where you choose a number from 1 to 97. Santa's Money Bag, where you dip to win cash. Listen all day for your chance to win big. As we bring you the spirit of the season, fantastic prizes, cash, giveaways galore. It's the spirit of the season on Power 97.9 FM.
Speaker, in this honorable house, there are 9 government MPs. They have the majority. It has never been a custom on this Madam Speaker, I am here with the same authority as him. So you can't tell me when to speak. Nobody, I am here with the same authority as other men. Honorable members. Parliamentarian. Okay. The people sent me here to speak on the business of the country.
And you have spoken.
You to speak.
And you have spoken, and you are saying that it is not constitutional, and I am saying that I have the authority
disrespectful to the people of this country.
Not one member found it convenient.
You can't do anything. I've told you that. You can't do anything. None of you. I warned you about it. That's why you refuse to want to stop being ministers. That's the problem. That's why you refuse. Huh? That's not your business.
Honorable members, I would like to proceed with the business of the House.
That's why you need to be a minister. You're a prostitute in the country. That must not do that. This is not right. Because you have the majority, you do not want to let one of your members resign to allow the Deputy Speaker to go ahead. This is what happens to you, Madam Speaker. The House cannot meet. That can't be right. And I will stand up to speak up. It can't be right, Madam Speaker.
And it is everybody's responsibility to make sure the structure
we must
of
stand
the
up for
Parliament
something,
is in place. So everyone here is responsible. Everyone here is
we must stand up.
Everybody here is responsible.
I am standing for the rights of the people of St. Lucia, Madam Speaker, regardless of what these ministers say, regardless of how they use their majority, regardless of the things they will say about me. I'm standing up, Madam Speaker, for rightness.
Okay, we have heard your argument.
So this occurred a little over a decade ago, and on the floor there was the MP for Castries East, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, and the Speaker, Rosemary Husbands. She totally lost control of the proceedings at the House just because you had a coup of sorts, by the then opposition members of Parliament. So, dear comparison, What's happening in the chat room, Kimani?
Someone says, yes, Tim, keep reminding them. SLPs gives a confidence factor in words but acts indifferently. There is now an influx of work being done, and as a result, the season looks a bit promising for merchants. I assume they will prepare to open up for the last 2 years in an effort to save St. Lucians. Forget the first 3 years. Someone says, remind them, Tim, of Miss Husbands pleading with the St. Lucia Labour Party at the time. What say you, caller? They walked out instead. And someone commented stating that walking out was a policy of the St. Lucia Labour Party. That's it in the chat room, Tim.
Okay, let's see if we could get a WhatsApp call once again. Okay, we have a call coming in. No. 452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages. 716-2026, we have a call via WhatsApp as we say hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon, Rick.
I was quite intrigued a while ago to hear one of your callers say that the Speaker of the House thinks he's a judge in a courtroom or words to that effect. Right?
Yeah. Somebody from the diaspora made a comment. Yeah, somebody from the diaspora made a comment.
From the diaspora.
Yeah.
That is a fact, you know, Tim. This Speaker continues to use phrases that are in the courthouse, continues to talk about things like burden of proof and all those kind of stuff, and even examining documents that are before the court and ruling on those documents. In fact, a little while ago, he actually said, I am the judge, right?
Yeah.
All of that stuff. You know, and now he's advising the media. But before we come to that, Tim, you know, I heard the Speaker saying the other day, in fact, that's his favorite word, I set up the loudspeakers. I did so and so. In fact, he said, I have the authority to turn up the television feed, etc. Where does he get that authority from, Tim?
On the rules of the House?
The rules of the House.
Mm-hmm.
But you will not find any reference whatsoever to television broadcasting in the standing orders, you know.
Not to my knowledge.
None.
No.
There are no rules. They have never set rules for broadcasting, television live broadcasting in the House. So the Speaker of the House.
So it's not. Therefore, it's not something that's mandatory in the first place.
No, it's not the point. The point is the Speaker, who has to be a man of great discretion, because a lot of what he does, the Speaker does, and not about the particular one, speakers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what speakers do will depend on discretion. Now, if your senses are rendered inoperative because you have so many personal gripes against individuals in the House, how can you trust discretion to a person like that? Eh?
Well, I'm not going on if you have gripe with people. I'm just going on the evidence of your performance, the level of professionalism
I want to be more particular than that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be more particular than that. There is this famous speech that must not be forgotten because it's a main guide to the Speaker's motivations, the bazooka and everything else. Almost everything he says has to be seen through that prism. That is no more Mr. Nice Guy. My party is first. You attack my party, you attack me. You can be a dwarf or whatever, bazooka. So and he said that the night before a very important House session. So I'm telling you now, there are no rules governing television broadcasting. So what is happening there now is the Speaker is using what I may be bold enough to call his flawed perceptions and his flawed discretion. And I say that because he has made those decisions and taken steps that have landed him in trouble before the court and everybody else, including stepping on people's constitutional rights. And so I say that bearing that in mind. But I should also read to you something that the Speaker doesn't do at all. The Speaker has a lot of authority, you know. It's when this discretion and prejudices get in the way that we have problems. I'm reading from the standing rules and orders. The Speaker shall have power to regulate the conduct of business in all matters not provided for in these standing orders. Now, does that include broadcasting, or is that only to do with arguments in the House, debates in the House? I suspect it has only to do with debates in the House. But there's no reference to broadcasting, and we have no laws, no rules whatsoever. The decision in all cases for which standing orders do not provide shall lie with the discretion, here's that word again, shall lie with the discretion of the Speaker and shall not be open to challenge. That suggests debates and arguments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Speaker last week, in his effort to underscore respectful and disrespectful behavior, underscored an incident with Ernest Hilaire, which he put into the respectful bracket. You with me?
Yeah.
He was saying that to illustrate respect for the Speaker, he used an incident involving Ernest Hilaire. And to illustrate disrespect to the Speaker, he illustrated the phone going off in the opposition leader's pocket. Now, Tim, what is the point of that? Doesn't that show, again, more prejudice and bad use of discretion? Because he could talk about respect for the Speaker, especially at the time he was talking, when nobody in particular was being targeted. He could talk about respect for the Speaker and point to whatever relevant section there is in the standing orders.
Right.
But consumed as he is, or as he has demonstrated, or as he has himself said, consumed as he is with things partisan, in particular the protection of the Labour Party side. Those are his words, huh? And I'm saying consumed as he is, that being his main priority by what he said. You're not surprised that he does those things. And over he does it. He takes decisions that are obviously prejudiced. You know, with the reporters outside. I could not believe the absolute nonsense that flowed out of the Speaker's mouth. Talking about if it's raining and all that nonsense. The people who report in the House are there to report what transpired in the House. So whether it rained or didn't rain or whatever, the populace is going to know when it rains in St. Lucia, no?
Yes, they would.
If it rained on Saturday, the populace would know that. And if come Monday, there's a debate in the House about whether it rained or not, that is all the reporter is supposed to write about, you know, a debate in the House where whoever it was said it was raining, whoever said it wasn't raining.
What transpired, you know? and provide the evidence of that, especially in the case of electronic media, radio and television.
Well, I don't know that it is for the reporter to do that. I think it's in the House for them for somebody to prove that there was rain. And if both of them have opposite views, let them deal with it, because that's what we are asked to do in Parliament, not express our opinions and not be referee. Yeah. That is one of the Speaker's own problems himself.
That is his responsibility.
When one person says something to him,
mm-hmm.
and let's say the opposition leader says something or the contrary, that is left for the guy on the other side to object. Mr. Speaker, that is not what I said.
Right.
But what's happening in the House now is the Speaker is taking it on his own to tell the leader of the opposition that is not what the member said. In other words, he's joining in the debate himself.
And also what is subjective.
very subjective, and with that discretion he has, that and the prejudice he has already told the whole world about, demonstrated the whole world. Let the other side say that is not what I said, and you have tapes, you have notes being taken in the House. It can be proved who was right and who was wrong without the Speaker injecting his own contribution to the debate. That is what happened with Guy Joseph and Peter Foster, when Guy Joseph said to an expert lawyer like Peter Foster, and he said, Mr. Speaker, it seems you want to be part of that debate because you are quoting to me what contract law is about. Ideally, if the other side is talking contract law and the other side says something wrong, one side corrects him if he can.
Yeah.
But that's not for the Speaker to come into the debate and offer his own view on the debate as a lawyer. That's not what he's there for. But this guy seems consumed with an obsession unfulfilled. I suspect he is obsessed with the idea of being a judge. He called himself that some time ago in the House. He's always ruling. He's always saying, I, when it's you either have authority by the standing orders, and you should quote it for safety's sake, especially when you are perceived as a very partisan speaker. Quote the standing orders and save us a lot of trouble. Now he is lecturing to the media how to do their job, which I found is ironic, considering it seems to me he has a long way to go in learning how to do his own job. But we should not mislead people on the matter of this what the speaker said about cutting the live broadcasting, whatever. There is no law that says yes or no on that. And whether the speaker has discretion on that, I don't know. But there's another important factor to this, Tim. Whether what is said in the House under privilege protects an MP, and whether that MP is still protected when a live broadcast goes out all over the world calling somebody a thief. I don't know about that. Those are the things we should be addressing. But we have absolutely, and there are laws for that, rules for that regarding broadcasting in the House of Commons. So and St. Clair Daniel, the former speaker, was very concerned about that. Even those speakers, those loudspeakers that the speaker told us were redundant, were dead, and he restored, that is also questionable because you're putting out stuff that's supposed to be privileged, and there is no rule or law that says that if you're broadcasting something and you say something in the House, that what is received outside the House is not also libelous. Because the House of Commons does not broadcast everything that happens in the House, Tim.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear as well. So the people who are saying they want to see everything that happens in the House, we have to pass some rules and just have some discussion on that. Because the House of Commons does not broadcast live everything that happens in the House. There are rules regarding the cameras. There are rules what should be transmitted. There are rules what should be edited. All of that is in place in the House of Commons, which is, of course, the main guide regarding such things. So it's a magic show going on in the House there, with the Speaker taking all kinds of things on his own, being his own law, authorizing himself, and talking to reporters about it. I mean, that nonsense about the Chief Justice. Where did that come from? You see all these allusions again. Chief Justice, I'm the judge. I have the authority. I don't know. I just think I should have studied law rather than pursue things political.
All right,
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right?
Thank you so much. Let's look at what's happening in the chat room, a few of the comments in the chat room, and then we'll turn our attention to our final feature, the NewsSpin News of the Day.
Someone says, so in essence, he wants to be a lawyer, a judge, and a reporter, my ma'am. Someone says in the chat room, well said, Rick. Another comment. That's about it, Tim.
All right. Thank you so much. In other words, if you want to know more of what was said in terms of the discussions and so on, what we might not be able to share with you, you might have to log on and to see those comments in the chat room. Finally, our NewsSpin news of the day. The World Health Organization calls on China to reinstate masks, social distancing, and staying when ill amid mystery pneumonia outbreak. Our NewsSpin news of the day. The World Health Organization calls on China to reinstate masks, social distancing when ill amid mystery pneumonia outbreak. And that's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching on our NewsSpin Facebook page as well as on YouTube. And thank you as well for listening on Power 97.9 FM. Goodbye.